Right now at 5, we follow up on a rollover crash in Jasper County, Missouri from last week.
We are dry today, a bit of patchy fog out there, but otherwise not too bad. Got a great Monday ahead of us and not a bad week with a few scattered shower chances. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the only living suspect in the case of 2 missing girls from Welch, Oklahoma is released.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m.
It is 5 a.m. I'm Chris Warner. So not a bad start for us for a Monday, a little bit on the cool side. So we've talked about this before. There's warm 60-degree readings and there's cool 60-degree readings. And this is definitely one of the cool 60-degree readings out there. It is a bit chilly feeling, but again, not too bad for us. We had a pretty good day for us lined up as well. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. And as we look outside at 7th and range line, not too bad. Got clear skies again, chilly, 54 degrees right now in Joplin. East-southeast breeze at about 5 miles an hour. And as we look at temperatures around the area, again, a bit of a chilly start. 50 Fort Scott, 54 Pittsburgh, Chanute, 53 in Neodesha, Chautauqua, 55 Miami, and 54 in Neosho and Carthage. As we get our morning started, well, there we go. Now we're going to get our morning started. The machine doesn't want to get its morning started. So, it's Monday. I think the computers know it's Monday. They have a calendar on them. We're going to have those mostly clear skies as we kick off today. A few passing clouds getting into the lower 70s by late morning. We head into the afternoon. Again, beautiful day. Highs pushing mid, maybe even some upper 70-degree readings out there. Clouds will start to increase gradually as we head into the afternoon. So we'll start to see some partly cloudy skies, and that'll transition into some mostly cloudy skies as we head through the evening and into the overnight. Nice evening, though, even with the clouds still hanging out in the 70s and in the mid-60s as we go through about 10 o'clock. But another cool one for us as we drop back down to the mid-50s for our overnight lows. And as we look ahead, this Monday, this is one of the simplest forecasts to do. It's very nice. It's going to be much warmer tomorrow as we push into the lower 80s. We'll hang out in lower 80s, upper 60s for the next several days. And then we've got those isolated shower and thunderstorm chances as we go Wednesday through Friday. We'll get a little break, maybe a couple of stray showers Saturday, and then a few evening showers possible with us on Sunday. So unfortunately this week, while we have these shower chances, they're going to be very scattered, isolated to very widely scattered at best. And then as we head into next week, maybe a few evening or morning showers rather on Monday. Temperature's still not bad though. Cloudy skies, a couple isolated showers on Tuesday, and back into the low 80s by Wednesday. Now the good news is, as we've looked at some of the longer range forecasts, we're still projected to have a wetter than average summer. Not significantly, but at least some above average rainfall. And of course, we definitely need that additional rainfall. So hopefully that those long range models hold and we do get that. We'll have more on your forecast, which there's really not much more to it right now, with just the scattered shower chances here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. We have a follow-up to the rollover crash from last week. The crash occurred on Wednesday at around 6:15 in Jasper County when a car overturned about 6 times into a field and ejected the driver. That driver, Keaton Dickey, who is 22 years old from Oronogo, Missouri, suffered serious injuries. He was arrested for DWI, no insurance, no seatbelt, and failure to drive on the right side of the roadway. Dickey was thrown 100 feet from the car. He was transported non-emergency to a Joplin hospital. A serious car crash turns fatal for an Asbury, Missouri man. Authorities responded to reports of a serious crash at around 8:30 Saturday night on Asbury's Main Street. Witnesses say the car was traveling at a high rate of speed, lost control, and left the roadway. Vehicle then struck a utility pole and then a tree. Responders attempted CPR, but the driver, 37-year-old Dewey Lewis from Asbury, was pronounced deceased about 20 minutes later on scene. Authorities have notified next of kin, and witnesses say the car was being tested as a race car. Authorities also respond to a crash involving a motorcycle and a truck on Walmart Drive and 7th Street in Joplin. Crash occurred Saturday night just before 5 p.m. Joplin police say the pickup was traveling south to east on a green light when the westbound motorcycle failed to yield to the traffic signal and struck the pickup. The driver and the passenger of the motorcycle were transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. Police in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, near Tulsa, say a train derailed there on Saturday. Authorities say approximately 8:47 Central Time, 2 cars carrying sand derailed. No injuries or hazmat was involved. Personnel is on scene who will work to re-rail the two cars. The cause is under investigation. The only living suspect in the 1999 disappearance of 2 Oklahoma girls is released from prison. Scott Martin has more on the reaction from one of the victims' family members.
Wearing a shirt with the faces of Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman. Laura's mom, Lorene, says this moment took her back to December 1999.
He has more rights than the victim does.
Bible is being a voice for change, standing against prisoners' early release when it involves certain crimes.
I either got to go hide in the closet or I have to be my daughter's voice. I don't go hide from nothing, so I'll be her voice.
She says there are faults in the system that need addressed so another family doesn't go through the pain she's living with.
Had we fought the system 23 years, 4 months, and 19 days ago when it happened against the police department, the sheriff department, the OSBI at the time that did not do their job and put change then, what happened in Henrietta would not have happened.
Showing his support for Lorene was Larry Dean. His daughter Dina Dean was murdered in 1998. The case has gone cold, but he knows he could be in Lorene's shoes.
And I don't know if Daddy is strong enough to stand out here on the street if it was Dina's killer being released.
Both fighting for justice for their loved ones, fighting for laws to make convictions stronger.
When you get put in jail, you're going to stay.
You know, Laura and Ashley, this will be their legacy. Change for the future.
Joplin History and Mineral Museum hosted a spring rock show on Sunday. Gems, minerals, fossils, and handmade jewelry were just some of the rocks at the show. Mother Road Coffee and Holy Tacos were set up for the rock enthusiast to enjoy while looking, purchasing, and asking questions about the Earth's treasures.
Today, this entire weekend is our 16th annual Spring Rock Show, and we have people who've come from all over the area to both show their material and as well as come to see what we have to offer.
Joplin History and Mineral Museum is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day except on Sundays. Third annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival kicked off in Garland, Kansas with historical activities, farm tours, a plant pavilion, and there was so much to do for the entire family. There were also tons of children's activities, from making butter, milking cows, and even an animal area that kept kids busy also while learning.
Our third year, and we are trying to show people what we do with our greenhouse, our gardens, our irrigations, and our composting, as well as that everybody have a good time.
The event lasted 7 hours, which gave plenty of time for visitors to shop at the many vendors that were set up. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Missouri Southern looks to move on to the NCAA Division II Super Regionals. We'll have if they succeeded in sports with Chris. Plus, over the weekend, the city of Joplin played host to the Memorial Run, and how using marijuana triples your risk of peripheral artery disease. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Missouri Southern Lions come into Sunday needing to win 2 games in order to move on to the NCAA Division II Super Regionals. However, the Lions are only 1 loss away from being eliminated and ending their season. We're going to pick things up on a Sunday afternoon at Warner Turner Field. Lions are taking on Minnesota State Mankato, who they lost to on Saturday. Top of the first, Minnesota State strikes first. Jackson Hayes singles to right for an RBI to give the Mavericks a 1-0 lead. Minnesota started out the game up 4-0, but here come the Lions. Bottom of the 4th, Lions down 4-0. Matt Miller pulls this down the line and bounces off the fence. Henry Kuziak scores. Lions on the board, but trail 4-1. Bottom of the 5th now. Game is tied 4-4. Garrett Rice singles to the left side. RBI single by Rice gives the Lions their first lead of the day, now up 5-4. Later in the inning, Lions up 7-4. Nate Myskowski belts a laser to left field. Clear the left field patio. Look out, because that ground rule double gives Missouri Southern a 9-4 lead, and Southern takes care of business. Goes on to win and beat Minnesota State 9-4. So here we are, game 2. Missouri Southern gets the first one out of the way. Now it's a win or go home elimination game. Top of the 3rd inning, Lions trail 2-1. Ethan Clark ties it right back up with a line drive RBI base hit up the middle. Game tied up 2-2. Minnesota State gets the lead right back up 5-3. Missouri Southern's Leif Holtein gets the strikeout to end the 3rd inning to stop the bleeding. Top of the 4th inning now, Lions down 5-2. Nate Myskowski, the liner sent to right field. Chayton Beck scores. Just like in game 1, Missouri Southern is inching closer. Minnesota State is not letting the Lions get back in at this go-around. Bottom of the 7th, Mikey Gottschalk hits this one to the right side of the infield. Myskowski can't field cleanly. Mavericks go up 10-3. Top of the 9th now, last chance for the Lions. Double play, and that's your ball game. Minnesota beats Missouri Southern 10-4. The Mavericks move on to the Super Regionals. The Lions are now eliminated from the Central Region, and that is the end to Missouri Southern's 2023 season. Well, still to come, a historic post office in Manila catches on fire. Plus, we got another check of that very simple, very straightforward forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 on this Monday morning. As we take a look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, we're looking pretty good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, it's dark because it's still early, but it is clear. 54 in Joplin, east-southeast breeze at about 5 miles an hour. We look at temperatures around the region. 54 Carthage, Pittsburgh, Nevada. 50 in Fort Scott, 51 Iola, 54 Independence, 53 Chitopa, 55 Miami, and 50 in Monette. As we get our morning started, we'll have mostly clear skies, few passing clouds out there, up into the lower 70s as we head into the late morning hours. We go into the afternoon, pretty pleasant day for us, mid-70s, maybe some upper 70s. Well, the clouds begin to gradually increase as we go to the afternoon, so a little further out west, you may switch to mostly cloudy skies a little earlier. The rest of us partly cloudy, and then we all get in on mostly cloudy skies as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Temperature's still not bad, though. If you've got some evening plans, not a bad evening to get out whatsoever, but another chilly one in our forecast tonight as we drop back down to 54 for that overnight low. So we do have those isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances as we head through the week, starting at about Wednesday. So we go through today, again, not too bad, some mostly cloudy skies, not otherwise, again, pretty pleasant day. Tuesday shaping up to be about the same. We'll have a few more clouds, a little bit warmer, but again, not bad. And then as we head into Wednesday morning, here we are about 6 a.m., we're going to start to see some isolated showers out there, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. And these will persist with us. They'll be scattered throughout the day. So we've talked about this, I don't know how many times, but this isn't saying there will be rain widespread over this entire area. This is simply saying that these scattered showers, this is the most likely area they will be in. And despite the clouds and the scattered shower chances, temperatures will continue to warm. Those will clear out as we go later into the evening and into Thursday morning. And by Thursday afternoon and evening, get another round of some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder before that all clears out, and we'll see some additional chances as we head into our Friday. So let's look down the road. We're heading into the low 80s tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, maybe some mostly cloudy skies out there. Those isolated shower and thunderstorm chances, again, very isolated through the up through Friday. Temperatures hanging out in the low 80s, upper 70s. We get into the weekend, not bad. Maybe an isolated shower here or there. Same from Sunday evening into Monday morning. Maybe a couple of stray showers Tuesday in the upper 70s. And we return back to the lower 80s as we head into next Wednesday across the area under mostly cloudy skies. But as we mentioned earlier, too, the good news is some long-range data starting to show that we should have a slightly above average summer for rainfall. So hopefully that holds true for the area because we absolutely need that rain. Well, the annual Joplin Memorial Run hit the streets on Saturday to remember the Joplin tornado. KOAM's Shagun Bamdale has more.
The annual Joplin Memorial Run, held in commemoration of the tornado that struck in 2011, commenced today. The event is now in its 12th year.
To come to one day to celebrate our recovery from the tornado and all the wonderful help we got from all across the world, and just be grateful for the health we have and the vibrance in this city.
Mitchell says this day signifies the resilience of Joplin City.
It signifies our recovery, resilience, and it's just a great day. I look forward to it every year.
A participant says the race was rewarding.
Finishing got rough there, few bits, but it was very rewarding in the end.
Although it was also challenging.
About mile 10, my knees started to hurt, but you push through.
The memorial run demonstrates the power of the community coming together in the face of adversity.
Police officers, sheriff's department all along the way, protecting us and cheering us on, and the volunteers handing out water and Gatorade and all the things, and it's just a wonderful, supportive event.
Good job, little man. Good job.
In Joplin, Sheikh Mamdele, KOAM News.
There were more than 1,500 people that participated in the run on Saturday, and that brings us to our question for you this morning on this 12th anniversary of the Joplin tornado. Were you in Joplin for the tornado, yes or no? We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be right back with Health Watch after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the World Health Organization says it is now creating a global network to help alert people of future infectious disease threats. It's called the International Pathogen Surveillance Network. The WHO says it is based on genomics and would allow countries to share information on a central platform. The organization calls the goal of the new network ambitious and aims to give every country access to pathogen genomic sequencing for its public health system and security. Well, a new study is finding risks to your heart if you regularly smoke marijuana. Scientists at New Jersey's Hackensack University Medical Center say marijuana users have a high risk of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Researchers collected anonymous patient data from more than 623,000 marijuana users and found 2,424 were diagnosed with PAD. Marijuana users have 3 times the risk of developing PAD than non-users. PAD happens when blood flow is reduced to the arms and legs from excessive plaque buildup that narrows arteries. An estimated 70% of cardiac arrest happen at home, and that's according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Sadly, about half of those people do not get the help they need before the ambulance arrives. And that's why the American Heart Association says it's critical for everyone to know what to do in an emergency, and that includes children. Mandy Gaither has more on what to teach kids.
It can happen in an instant. When a person goes into cardiac arrest, time is critical, and many times these emergencies happen at home.
9 out of 10 people will not survive. And that's not because that we don't know what to do for them. It's that oftentimes people don't recognize it soon enough. Oftentimes they don't have CPR performed. They don't have an AED.
Emergency physician Camilla Sasson helped write a statement for the American Heart Association, stressing the importance of everyone, including children as young as 4 years old, to know what to do in an emergency. She says the first thing to know is how to recognize cardiac arrest.
They've suddenly collapsed. They're not breathing normally. Maybe they're gasping for air.
Sasson says even young children should know their address and know to call 911 in an emergency.
We practiced about how to use the phone and tell them, hey, look, this is where I live. I need help.
Sasson says for every minute a person in cardiac arrest doesn't have CPR performed, chances of survival go down by 10%.
Put your other hand on top.
That's why she says older children who have enough strength can even learn this potentially life-saving technique.
I have them practice at home about where is your breastbone. Okay, how would you find that on somebody else? Okay, if you needed to push hard and fast at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute, we turn on the radio and we listen to a few songs that we know are at that beat.
Sasson says no one is too young or too old to save a life.
Well, the American Heart Association has more information on CPR, including classes the organization offers. If you're interested, check out their website at cpr.heart.org. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves an absolutely beautiful day ahead of us and a pretty decent Tuesday. Do have some scattered shower chances later this week. We'll talk about that in the forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the Miners Hall Museum hosts a special program on the town of McCune, Kansas.
We've got a chilly but clear start for us on this Monday. We're going to stay quite warm as we head through the next week with some shower chances out there. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the president of PSU, who left Pittsburgh to bike across Kansas, makes it to Wichita.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So a bit on the chilly side out there for us on this Monday morning, but otherwise not bad. Did run into some patchy fog. I don't know if you ran into any, but it is very isolated in nature. So again, last week, we had a couple of days of lots of fog. At least today, not so much fog out there, but do watch out here and there, especially in the rural areas. Right now, MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and range line, starting to get a little daylight out there, and you can see clear skies across the region. 54 in Joplin, so again, a chilly start. East-southeast breeze at about 5. Around the region, a little cooler to the north, so we're talking 50 Fort Scott, 51 in Iola, and 58 Center. We got 52 Parsons, 51 Chatopa, 54 in Miami, and 53 in Neosho. We get our day started. We're going to have mostly clear skies to start, maybe a few passing clouds. We're going to warm into the lower 70s. Clouds will start to increase later today from west to east, so some of us in parts of southeast Kansas may go mostly cloudy a little earlier in the day. The rest of us will see the increasing clouds, but will remain partly cloudy through the afternoon hours as highs push mid-70s, maybe even some upper 70s out there. And as we head into the evening, we all get in on the mostly cloudy skies as it progresses. Still mild though, so if you have any outdoor plans or anything going on this evening, not a bad evening to do it. And overnight, we head for another pretty chilly low back into the mid-50s. Now we do have some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, and these are going to be isolated to widely scattered at best, and that's going to start as we head into Wednesday. So we go into Wednesday morning, start to see a few of those scattered showers around the region. Now again, this is painting the area where those scattered showers could be. This is not just widespread rainfall, unfortunately, but could see a stray shower or thunderstorm as we head through Wednesday and into the evening. It pauses as we head into the first part of our Thursday and then returns Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. As we look ahead tomorrow, a few more clouds into the lower 80s. Got those isolated shower chances Wednesday through Sunday. Temperatures hanging out upper 70s, lower 80s. We'll otherwise be dealing with partly to mostly cloudy skies. I have a few more shower chances Monday and Tuesday next week, and then mostly cloudy Wednesday. Temperatures returning to the lower 80s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. The Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas held a special program on the founding of McCune, Kansas. McCune, a town of about 400 people in Crawford County, was founded in 1881. The grain elevator is the centerpiece of McCune and still stands to this day. Presenter during the event was Kent Smith, who has close ties to the community.
Those pioneers that settled the land, a lot of the people that were instrumental in developing McCune had also had a role to play in Jacksonville, the development of the railroad.
Program was free and open to the public. We told you this past week about a 12-day biking journey by Pitt State President Dan Shipp. Now, he left Pittsburgh on Monday, made it to Wichita on Saturday. Joe Baker has more on why he's riding and the impact he's having along the way.
Pittsburgh State University President Dan Shipp is biking across the state with a purpose. 800 miles of biking with 15 stops across the state.
Some days it feels like 1,000, some days, like today was a great day, right? Weather was perfect and we had a really great ride into Wichita.
Kansas BMX Hall of Famer and Pitt State alum Daryl Pulliam is along for the ride as well.
I actually designed the route to start in Pittsburgh, go up through Topeka, down through Emporia, here in Wichita, and then we'll head west out to Garden City, we'll go north up to Colby and then out to the Colorado state line.
The goal for this trip to raise $8 million for Pittsburgh State Scholarship Fund to make school more affordable for students.
Our main goal for this entire event is just to raise money for our students and scholarship dollars.
Members of the team are doing more than just biking as well.
To do some service wherever we could along the way, to really share with others what Pitt State's all about. And that's active learning, active community engagement wherever we go.
On Saturday, members of the team serving our community, picking up trash along the Arkansas River.
We've done a lot of pickup as we go. So whether it's an organized project or not, we have all kinds of bags and equipment. And so if we're stopping in towns, we pick up trash and try to make parks nicer throughout the state of Kansas.
I've always loved giving back to communities that have helped us so much.
In the end, each say they hope to help those who really want to further their education.
College is expensive. For us to be able to go out and raise dollars to help, field the way for other people that may not be able to afford college but really want to go, that's really where our hearts are at right now.
Well, the Carthage Humane Society is celebrating its 75th anniversary. The celebration over the weekend had Zach Burleson and his band playing as community members enjoyed food from a food truck and bake sale.
We just wanted to have an event for the public to come out and be able to see all the animals, to donate if they can, whether it be food, supplies, or money. We're a nonprofit, so we're 100% rely on the public.
Raffle prizes were also handed out, and most importantly, adoption specials for the animals. Well, some folks in Joplin spent their Sunday throwing axes. Main Street Axe Company hosted a hatchet marathon. Throwers of all skill levels were able to enter it. It featured 28 matches and a double elimination tournament. Organizers say hosting tournaments like this are a great way to bring people together for a little fun.
Today we're throwing a hatchet marathon league. We're an affiliate of the World Axe Throwing League, and so a regular 8-week league season is being played today, all in one day. So each thrower today will play 28 games.
And there was also a skee ball tournament at the event. Neosho Fish Hatchery celebrated 135 years of fishing fun with a Veterans Derby on Sunday. Veterans were able to enjoy the nice weather while catching some fish. Now, lunch was provided for attendees along with a free t-shirt, and volunteers cleaned and bagged all catches on ice.
Today is our annual Veterans Fishing Derby. This is our derby that kicks off the whole year of derbies. And we like to start off with our veterans. And this year is actually a special year, 135th year of operation.
No licenses or tags were required to fish at the Derby. Well, this morning we're discussing the Joplin tornado.
More than 150 people were killed and over 1,000 others were injured when an EF5 tornado hit Joplin, Missouri on this day 12 years ago. Thousands of homes were destroyed. The storm packed winds in excess of 200 miles an hour was on the ground for more than 22 miles.
To this day, the Joplin tornado ranks as one of Missouri's and the United States' deadliest tornadoes. According to NOAA, it ranks as the costliest tornado in U.S. history with $2.8 billion in damages.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Were you in Joplin for the tornado? So far, 40% of you say that you were, 60% of you say that you were not. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Where were you at during the tornado?
I was actually with my sister, and they live just south of CJ. So I remember watching the coverage, not 100% certain which direction it was moving. We lost TV service, and then on the radio initially, some folks may remember this just because of the chaos. There were reports that put this tornado initially anywhere between 7th and 32nd Street. So after it passed, I went out to check on family and then ended up helping out where I could.
I didn't make it to Joplin until the next day, but when the sirens started going off, I was actually training for a marathon at the time. Hard to believe, but and I was about a quarter mile away from my house in Pittsburgh, pushing a jogging stroller. So, yeah, that was pretty scary when that was happening.
It was indeed.
All right, well, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, There's a mystery at a California library after a book is returned nearly 100 years later.
Plus, do you know when the first recorded kiss in history took place? We do. We'll have that answer coming up.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, a massive fire breaks out at Manila's historic Central Post Office late on Sunday. Teams of firefighters worked through the night for more than 7 hours to bring the blaze under control, but not before it charred the upper levels of the structure as well as the roof. The post office was first built in 1926 before it was severely damaged during the Second World War and rebuilt 20 years later. Climate activists in Italy dumped charcoal into Rome's famous Trevi fountain. Authorities say about 10 people showed up at the site on Sunday holding banners that read slogans including "Our country is dying." Rome police say all of the activists were arrested at the scene and face vandalism charges. The group has previously carried out 2 similar attacks. Rome's mayor called on the activists to stop targeting national and artistic monuments. Well, Europe's most active volcano, Mount Etna, came to life again on Sunday, spewing ash on Catania, eastern Sicily's largest city. The city's airport was forced to shut down. Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, which closely monitors Etna, noted that clouds and rainy day weather were blocking the view of the eruption. Usually onlookers can take in a spectacular view of flaming lava. Ash blanketed Catania and on at least one town on Mount Etna's inhabited slopes. No injuries were reported. New findings show more than half of the world's largest lakes and reservoirs are going dry. A new large-scale study published last Thursday in the journal Science says about 1/4 of the world's population, around 2 billion people, live in the basin of a drying lake. International researchers studied 250,000 lake area satellite images taken from 1992 to 2020, and they say they discovered a 53% drop in water storage during that time. Climate change is said to be the culprit of the water evaporation. This comes as hundreds of millions around the world are already lacking suitable water sources. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:45, almost 5:46 on this Monday morning. You can see daylight starting to come out. We've got clear skies as seen here on the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Looking good as well from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And our camera at 7th and Rangeline showing those clear skies, a little bit of daylight out there, but it is on the chilly side. We're sitting at 54 in Joplin, east-southeast breeze at about 5 miles an hour. And as we look around the area, 50 Fort Scott, Iola, 54 Chinook, 52 Parsons, 51 in Chetopa, 54 Miami, 53 Neosho, 51 in Monette, 54 Carthage Lamar. We're sitting at 53 in Nevada. So again, a pretty chilly start for most of us around the area. As we get our morning started, we're going to have a few passing clouds, otherwise mostly clear skies, warming up nicely. Temperatures into the low 70s as we head to the late morning hours. And as we go into the afternoon, out west, clouds will increase a little bit faster than they do here to the east. So out west, mostly cloudy skies by this afternoon. The rest of us partly cloudy skies, but those clouds will continue to increase as we head through the evening. Temperatures today, mid 70s, maybe even some upper 70s out there across the region. And as we head into this evening, again, all of us eventually getting in on mostly cloudy skies. We stay mild for the initial part of the evening, so not a bad night to get out and take care of business. Anything you need to do, tonight's the night to do it. But we're going to be chilly again overnight as we drop back down into the mid 50s. Now, as we head later in the week, we've got isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, which we can take a look at here on the future track. So we head through into Wednesday morning. We start to see a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Now, again, this is just painting where those scattered showers will be. This is not a just complete rain event here, which is, I know we need that rain, and unfortunately, this is just showing that we could see those scattered showers and thunderstorms in these general areas here. As we head into 6 o'clock Wednesday evening, a few more of those out there. Wednesday and even into Thursday, looking to be some of our better chances of a little more of these scattered showers out there. By Thursday morning, we're calm and clear to start, but as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, some of us especially in southeast Kansas, getting in on a little more shower activity. And that's going to end up being the case as we head into the weekend and even into the first part of next week. But you can see for the most part, unfortunately, we're staying relatively dry across the area, unfortunately. But the good news is some longer range models are showing that we should have a slightly above average summer in terms of precipitation. Tomorrow, warmer, a few more clouds, lower 80s. Again, those scattered showers and thunderstorm chances continuing all the way through Tuesday of next week. Temperatures for the most part, upper 70s, lower 80s. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies in between these showers. And again, they continue through the weekend, not bad, in the 70s. As we head toward the middle of next week, temperatures warm up again back into the lower 80s. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, the expression better late than never applies to a story out of Northern California where an overdue library book is finally back in its rightful place. And this isn't just any overdue book. This one was checked out nearly 100 years ago from St. Helena, a city in Napa County. Juliette Goodrich has more.
I'm afraid to touch it, but I can show it to you. Let's see. Oops, it's falling apart, so it doesn't have a spine anymore.
This library book is in bad shape, but can you blame it? It's seen a lot over the last 141 years.
One of my staff members brought it, came up and said, oh, somebody had returned that book. And they thought it was really cool. It was a really old book, and we didn't realize quite how old it was. It's falling apart.
Falling apart and past due to the St. Helena Library by 96 years.
All of us are just, wondering where the book could have been for so long, from checked out in 1927. And actually, none of us have seen a library book that was checked out in 1892 or anything else. And to have it be from this library from that far back is really incredible.
In fact, the book is older than the library as we know it today. Published in 1892, it was one of the first books available back when the library was a subscription service. Think of it like the Netflix of its day, 25 cents a month to check out books. Had someone wanted to browse its pages, they would have done that here. This was the reading room in 1886. And this is what the library looked like in 1927 after it became public.
Almost 100 years since it was, we assume it was in the building. So we just would love to know where it's been.
The book's title, you ask? A History of the United States by Benson Lossing. A mystery man returned it last week with little explanation.
The gentleman just said that something about his father, but didn't catch anything else. He didn't give his name. It wasn't somebody that she recognized. Other staff have no idea who this gentleman is. So we'd love to find out more about the story.
The library hopes to add its own chapter to the story of this long missing book. But if the man who returned it is watching by chance, there is some good news on this past due bill, estimated at more than $1,700.
It would have been a lot, but I don't think that we would have charged that much at any point.
The library officials suspect this book was one of the original 540 volumes available when the Free Public Library opened in 1892. We'll be right back. Well, an ultra creepy sculpture commanded a blood-sucking price at auction Thursday. A buyer paid $32.8 million for this 10-foot tall bronze spider, crafted by Louise Burgess in 1996 and entitled, creatively enough, Spider. The sculpture is part of a series. French-American artists made many of them, which can be seen at some of the world's most prominent art museums. Now, she didn't start sculpting spiders until she was in her 80s. Burgess died in 2010 at 98 years old. Well, scientists think they found out what draws mosquitoes to humans. A scientific report published on Friday reveals the different chemicals and body odor that attract the blood-sucking insects. To do this, researchers built an ice rink-sized testing arena, pumped in the scents of different people for hundreds of mosquitoes. Researchers found the mosquitoes were most attracted to airborne carboxylic acids, including a compound present in stinky cheeses such as Limburger. At the same time, the insects seemed to be deterred by the chemical eucalyptical, which is present in plants. Well, apparently people have been puckering up for a long time. According to a review paper published in the science journal, romantic kissing was documented in clay tablets from Mesopotamia, dating back 4,500 years ago. Prior to this research, it was believed that this style of affection originated around 3,500 years ago in the area that is now India.
We've got ourselves a pretty decent Monday lined up for us. We're going to start the day under mostly clear skies, a few passing clouds. It will warm up nicely back into the lower 70s by late morning after this chilly start. As we head into the afternoon, not too bad. Temperatures mid-70s, maybe some upper 70s. Partly cloudy skies as clouds gradually increase throughout the afternoon. And as we head into the evening, we transition to some mostly cloudy skies. Still mild, though, initially, so great evening to get out there and do whatever you need to do in the yard or for the car or just be outside. It'll be a chilly overnight, though, again, as we drop back down into the mid-50s. As we look ahead, warmer tomorrow, a few more clouds, lower 80s. We have isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances all the way through at least next Tuesday. Temperatures hanging out lower 80s as we head into the weekend. They get into the 70s, and they remain that way into Monday and Tuesday of next week under mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies when we're not seeing the showers. And by Wednesday of next week, we're back into the lower 80s, mostly cloudy skies. So unfortunately, not a lot of rain coming at this particular setup here, but we do have additional rain chances, of course, throughout the summer, and hopefully we'll get some more of that much needed rain. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, a man testing a race car in Asbury, Missouri loses his life when he loses control of the vehicle.
We've got ourselves a chilly but clear start to our Monday morning. A beautiful day ahead of us, maybe even some shower chances later this week. We'll look at that forecast coming up.
And the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas shines a spotlight on the founding of McCune, Kansas 142 years ago.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock on a Monday morning here in the 4 states. And it's a bit of a chilly Monday morning out there, but not too bad otherwise. And it's nice to be able to dry out for a bit. I know we need more rain. I want folks at home to know I know we need more rain, but we also need to dry out and catch up. I was at church on Sunday and spoke with some farmers who they were saying they needed to pause for a minute so they can catch up on certain things. And we're going to get that pause, but we do have additional shower chances this week. And again, long-range models showing that we should have a slightly above average summer in terms of precipitation. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. We got those clear skies looking great. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And from our camera at 7th and range line, beautiful start to the day. Again, albeit a chilly one, 53 in Joplin with a calm breeze out there and temperatures around the region. Chilly, but not bad otherwise. Could be worse. We got 49 in Fort Scott and Yates Center as a couple of the cooler spots out there. 51 Pittsburgh, 51 Chanute, 52 in Parsons, 54 Miami, 52 Neosho, and 53 Carthage and Lamar. We get our morning started. A few passing clouds, otherwise mostly clear skies into the lower 70s by late morning. We head into the afternoon. Pretty pleasant afternoon. Increasing clouds, though. Starting to turn partly cloudy out there. Mid-70s for highs, maybe even some upper 70s as you head a little further to the west. And as we head into the evening, everybody getting in on these mostly cloudy skies. Great evening ahead of us, though, aside from the cloudy skies out there. And then we have a pretty chilly overnight ahead of us as temperatures drop back into the mid-50s. And a quick look ahead. Warmer tomorrow, low 80s. Low 80s all the way through at least Friday. And then we have isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances Wednesday through at least Sunday out there. So not a lot of rain on the way, but at least a few doses of rain here and there. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a serious car crash turns fatal for an Asbury, Missouri man. Authorities responded to reports of the crash at around 8:30 Saturday night on Asbury's Main Street. Witnesses say the car was traveling at a high rate of speed, lost control, and left the roadway. The vehicle then struck a utility pole and then a tree. Responders attempted CPR, but the driver, 37-year-old Dewey Lewis from Asbury, was pronounced deceased about 20 minutes later on scene. Authorities notified next of kin. Witnesses say the car was being tested as a race car. Authorities also respond to a crash involving a motorcycle and a truck on Walmart Drive and 7th Street in Joplin. The crash occurred Saturday night just before 5 p.m. Joplin police say the pickup was traveling south to east on a green light, and when the westbound motorcycle failed to yield to the traffic signal and struck the pickup. The driver and the passenger of the motorcycle were transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. We have a follow-up to a rollover crash from last week. The crash occurred on Wednesday around 6:15 in Jasper County when a car overturned about 6 times into a field and ejected the driver. That driver, 22-year-old Keaton Dickey from Oronogo, Missouri, suffered serious injuries. He was arrested for DWI, no insurance, no seatbelt, and failure to drive on the right side of the roadway. Now, Dickey was thrown 100 feet from the car. He was transported non-emergency to a Joplin hospital. Well, today the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is scheduled to appear in court. Grand jury indicted Brian Koberger on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Jared Hill has the latest.
Today, a return to court is expected for Brian Koberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students at this off-campus rental home last fall. Just last week, a grand jury indicted the 28-year-old, a PhD criminology student at the time, on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary.
During the arraignment, the charges will be read and he will enter a plea. We expect that will be a not guilty plea.
Prosecutors allege Koberger went to the house in Moscow, Idaho in the early morning hours of November 13th last year, stabbing Madison Mogan, Zana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Kaylee Gonzalez. He was arrested almost 7 weeks later, hundreds of miles away at his family's home in Pennsylvania.
We know that he was arrested based on cell phone data, based on the make and model of his car, and based, very importantly, on finding his DNA on a knife sheath that was found at the scene.
Legal analysts say despite the strong evidence for the prosecution, there's no clear motive. Also, no actual murder weapon was found at the scene, potentially strengthening any defense. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Last weekend, the University of Idaho awarded posthumous degrees to the students who were murdered. If Koberger does, in fact, plead not guilty, analysts say it could be 6 months or more before this case goes to trial. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Carthage Humane Society celebrates its 75th anniversary. The celebration had Zach Burleson and his band playing as community members enjoyed food from a food truck and bake sale.
We just wanted to have an event for the public to come out and be able to see all the animals, to donate if they can, whether it be food, supplies, or money. We're a nonprofit, so we're 100% rely on the public.
Raffle prizes were also handed out, and most importantly, adoption specials for the animals. Well, the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas held a special program on the founding of McCune, Kansas. McCune, a town of about 400 people in Crawford County, was founded in 1881. The grain elevator is the centerpiece of McCune and still stands to this day. Presenter during the event was Kent Smith, who has close ties to the community.
Those pioneers that settled the land, a lot of the people that were instrumental in developing McCune had also had a role to play in Jacksonville, the development of the railroad.
The program was free and open to the public. Third annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival kicked off in Garland, Kansas with historical activities, farm tours, a plant pavilion. There was so much to do for the entire family. Tons of children's activities from making butter, milking cows, and even an animal area kept kids busy also while learning.
Our 3rd year, and we are trying to show people what we do with our greenhouse, our gardens, our irrigations, and our composting, as well as that everybody have a good time.
The event lasted 7 hours, which gave plenty of time for visitors to shop at the many vendors that were set up. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we've got the baking skills of Lori Horton on full display this morning. She shows us a recipe for pistachio pudding cookies. Yummy! You don't want to miss this one. Plus, a new tech breakthrough could provide a sense of touch for amputees suffering from phantom limb syndrome. Chris returns with another look at your Monday forecast and just how long the 4 states can expect these springtime temperatures to stick around. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:10 on this Monday morning. Something we haven't done in a while because we've had some weather to talk about the last couple of weeks is weather trivia. So why don't we ask this question? In 1995, hailstones as big as cricket balls wreaked havoc on parts of Texas. We want to know, where did it happen? By the way, these are not cricket ball sized hailstones. That was the best I could find. Was it San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, or in Austin? We're going to find out the answer to that question in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, and we are looking good so far. And I've come to the conclusion, the way that MoDOT positions these sometimes, we have a box, and if we put the box in the right spot and covered it with our magic green sheet, I could probably make it look like I'm sitting on this. So if they leave it in the same spot, one of these days we'll have to give that a try. KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh, also looking pretty darn good this morning as well. And same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline rather. Got those clear skies out there looking pretty nice, but it is a chilly start for us. We're sitting at 53 in Joplin. We got a calm breeze out there as well. And as we look at temperatures around the area, again, a chilly start. A couple of the cooler locations be Fort Scott and Yates Center, both checking in at 49. Iola not far behind at 50, 51 Chanute, Pittsburgh, Chetopa, 54 in Miami, 52 Neosho, and sitting at 51 in Monette. Now we will warm up today because it is May and we'll get those warm temperatures, and as we head into the summer months, we know we'll really get those warm temperatures out there. We'll have mostly clear skies, maybe a few passing clouds as we go through the morning hours into the low 70s as we head toward 11 a.m. And as we go into the afternoon, out west, the clouds will increase a little earlier for you all, so you'll start to get into mostly cloudy skies by this afternoon. The rest of us, the majority of us, will start to see partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. Highs today pushing mid-70s, maybe even some upper 70s out there. And as we head into the evening, all of us are turning mostly cloudy. But look at this, a nice mild evening out there just to sit on the porch. Maybe do some yard work if you didn't get to do it over the weekend, or whatever you want to do outside. Tonight's the night to do it. Now, as we go into the overnight, though, you're going to want to go back inside because it's going to be a bit chilly again, back into the mid-50s out there across the area. And look at that sunset, 8:25 tonight. It just gets later and later. So let's take a look down the road because we actually do have some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the week. Now, we go through today and even into tomorrow. We're not going to be too bad. We're going to stay dry. A few more clouds as we head through our Tuesday afternoon and evening, and a little bit warmer for us on Tuesday. Then we go into Wednesday morning and we start to see a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder out there. And as we've mentioned, I'd just like to clarify this point. This is not showing that there will be rain all over this area. This is showing where rain showers could be. These are going to be scattered, isolated at best as we head through the day Wednesday. As we go through Wednesday afternoon and evening, we'll see a few more of those showers overspread in the area. But again, these are going to be isolated to widely scattered. Still warm though. They clear out by Thursday morning. Then by Thursday afternoon and evening, especially in southeast Kansas, another round of possible showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two out there as well. But again, still warm. And that's going to kind of be the trend, at least for the next several days. Those are going to be isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. All right, back to our trivia real quick. 1995, big hailstones, cricket ball size hail, wreaked havoc in parts of Texas. Where was it? Well, if you happen to pick the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you would be correct. And just to give you some measure here, cricket ball measures at least 8.81 inches according to the rules of the game. So we're talking some big hailstones. Thankfully, nothing like that to deal with in our future. Getting warmer tomorrow, low 80s through Friday, 70s this weekend. Scattered shower and thunderstorm chances, and they'll continue all the way through Tuesday. We'll hang out in the upper 70s through Tuesday, from Saturday to Tuesday. Mostly cloudy Wednesday, temps return to the low 80s. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, welcome back. We have Lori Horton, our magical baking chef, in studio with us this morning.
Good morning.
I love pistachios, and when I found out we
Same.
were making pistachio cookies, oh my goodness.
I know. I think pistachio is a very underrated sort of flavor combination. So what we've got this morning is a pudding cookie, which is something that I love, something my mom used to make all the time. Really simple, easy to make, not a lot of ingredients, but you can change it up. So we're going to do pistachio this morning, but you could do these. I've got some that I did with butterscotch pudding instead, or coconut or banana.
I also like butterscotch.
You can't go wrong. And a really good one is even just vanilla pudding, and add some chocolate chips or whatever you like. So this is another like really versatile, a lot of options kind of a recipe. But not a lot of funky ingredients or equipment involved. The only thing I had problems finding, believe it or not, was whole pistachios. I had to do a little looking for that. So we're going to start with our dry ingredients, which is kind of something we usually do. And I've got plain old all-purpose flour, and this is like 1 2/3 cups.
Okay.
And then we are going to add a box of pudding. And so this is where our flexibility comes in. Normal size, small box.
So the small one, not the large one.
Not the large one. It's usually like a 3 to 3.4 ounce size box.
Exactly, 3.4.
And we're just going to dump that in with our flour. And then I've already measured out my baking soda and my salt. So we're going to add that as well. And of course, the recipe is going to be on the website later. So don't worry, I'm not getting real involved in the amounts, but you can go back and find that. And I'm just going to really lightly whisk this together because we want to make sure that that little bit of baking soda and that little bit of salt really gets incorporated in there and doesn't kind of end up all in one spot.
Do you recommend whisking instead of just a spoon for your dry ingredients usually?
You know, I do, or at least a fork, something that kind of comes through the ingredients. Yeah, with the dry ingredients, I think it just makes it come together a little bit easier, and you make sure that everything's not kind of all mixed together in one spot. So we're just going to set that aside, and then we are going to get to the ingredients that we have to make a little noise for.
Okay.
So we are going to start out with some unsalted butter, really easy. We're going to add to that our sugar and our brown sugar, and we're going to cream that until...
Any reason why you're using unsalted over... Do you usually bake with unsalted?
Well, it depends on the recipe. We added a little bit of salt to this, so we don't need more salt in the butter.
Right.
If it was the other way around, then we might add the salted butter.
Okay.
So it kind of depends. So we add those two things, and then we're going to cream those until they're really light and fluffy, and then we're going to come back, we're going to add that egg and the vanilla to it. And I got really fancy this morning and pulled out my wireless mixer.
Ooh,
no cords involved.
No cords.
So as soon as we do this, we're going to come back and we're going to incorporate these two things, and we're going to start actually making some dough.
Okay, so as we go to break, we'll let her get loud, and we will be back on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 with Lori as we finish our pistachio pudding cookies. Topping Health Watch this morning, a study of cancer survivors who smoked finds 14% continued to do so after their diagnoses. The research in the journal Cancer found those who continue to smoke experience greater fatigue, pain, emotional problems, and worse quality of life compared to participants who previously smoked or who never did. Not quitting after a cancer diagnosis was also found to lower survival rates, increase the likelihood of being diagnosed with additional cancers, and decrease the effectiveness of cancer therapies. New research suggests targeting mucus accumulation in the lungs could help prevent deaths from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. COPD is the 4th leading cause of death in the U.S. Researchers from Brigham and Women's Hospital found the mortality rate for patients with the most accumulation was 20% higher than patients with no detectable accumulation. There's more evidence that people with strong legs are less likely to develop heart failure after a heart attack. Researchers in Japan found participants with the highest quadriceps strength had a 41% lower risk of developing heart failure than those with the lowest strength level. When a person loses a limb, they can experience what's called phantom limb syndrome. That's where it feels like their missing body part is still there. Now, new technology is showing positive results in helping amputees feel objects and their temperatures through their phantom limbs. Anita Vogel takes a closer look on how the technology could be combined with prosthetics to increase an amputee's quality of life.
Imagine holding an object and not being able to feel it. It's a reality for many people like Fabrizio Fidati, who lost his right hand during an accident several decades ago. But groundbreaking technology from researchers in Switzerland is helping Fidati and other amputees regain their sense of touch.
We could give people a better sense of embodiment of their hands and maybe even give them the possibility to feel their loved one in a much more natural way.
In a trial involving 27 amputees, scientists took thermal electrodes and placed them on the skin of the participant's remaining limb. Another sensor was used to touch objects with varying temperatures.
Now I feel the heat. First it starts on the skin, then it goes inside the phantom hand.
17 of the participants said they could feel the difference in temperature from the sensor touching the object through their missing or phantom limb. Phantom limb syndrome is the effect when a person feels like their missing body part is still attached to them.
The sensation was like I had rediscovered the feeling on my phantom hand.
Besides feeling hot and cold, the technology allowed participants to also distinguish the feelings between plastic, glass, and even copper through their phantom limb.
Researchers say the technology can be incorporated into a person's prosthetic hand so they can feel what they touch with it. That's amazing. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got a chilly start for us on this Monday, but we'll start to warm up as the morning goes on. We'll have a few passing clouds, otherwise mostly clear skies into the low 70s by late morning. We head into the afternoon, clouds begin to increase, becoming partly cloudy. Temperatures mid 70s, maybe even some upper 70s out there. As we head into the evening, we become mostly cloudy across the region, but we stay mild initially, and then we have another chilly overnight ahead of us as we drop back into the mid 50s. We'll have another full check of your forecast and more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, if you like rock, then the Joplin History Mineral Museum had the 4 states covered this weekend with the Spring Rock Show.
We've got a clear and chilly start for us on this Monday. It's going to be a beautiful day ahead of us, but there are some rain chances out there. We'll talk about those coming up.
And 12 years ago, an EF5 tornado took the lives of more than 150 people and changed the face of Joplin forever.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit of a chilly start out there for some of us, but otherwise not too bad. We got some clear skies. We'll see a few more clouds as we head later into the day and a couple of stray shower chances as we head later into this week. Unfortunately, not a lot of rain, at least not with this particular round of wet weather. Right now, MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking pretty good so far. The sun is rising. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and range line, you can see that sunrise out there, hiding behind the trees right now, but we know it'll get up there eventually. We're sitting with clear skies in Joplin. Chilly though, 53. We've got a calm wind. And we still have those cool temperatures around the area as well. As we take a look, we have 50 Fort Scott, Iola. Still chilly in Yates Center is the cool spot at 49. We have 51 Pittsburgh, Chetopa, 53 Miami, and 52 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, we'll have mostly clear skies to start. Temperatures warming nicely into the low 70s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon hours, not a bad day for us overall. We're going to start to see clouds increasing, go partly cloudy by this afternoon, mid to even upper 70s for afternoon highs. Now out west, clouds will start to increase for you a little bit earlier, so you'll start to switch mostly cloudy by this afternoon. All of us mostly cloudy though as we head into the evening hours, but not a bad evening ahead of us, as you can see, still in the 70s, but our overnight low pretty darn chilly out there as we drop back into the mid 50s. Warmer tomorrow, a little cloudier as well, low 80s. And then we have isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances Wednesday through at least Sunday. Temperatures through Friday in the lower 80s, and by this weekend we hang out in the mid to upper 70s. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Police in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, near Tulsa, say a train derailed there on Saturday. Authorities say approximately 8:47 p.m., 2 cars carrying sand derailed. No injuries or the hazmat was involved. Personnel is on scene who will work to re-rail the 2 cars. Cause is under investigation. Experts are crisscrossing the state evaluating the state's wheat crop in Kansas. So far, reports are saying that the crop is not looking good. Alex Jurgens spoke with participants in this year's Kansas Wheat Tour about just how bad the crop is and what some farmers are doing to weather this difficult time.
This week, the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers is touring through various farm fields, much like this one just outside Wichita, to check on this year's crop progress as part of this year's Kansas Wheat Tour. And as it stands right now, it appears that this year's crop is in not that good of shape.
Crews with backgrounds in milling, baking, food processing, and trading are walking the fields around Kansas, getting a look at the state's most well-known crop. Some of them seeing a wheat field for the first time. Clay Shem has been traveling with the group. He's a farmer in Wallace and Morris counties. Crews are finding that this year's crop is in poor or very poor condition.
We haven't quite ran the numbers yet on our average yield, but I'm expecting it to be lower than it was last year and with a lot more abandoned acres along with it.
While rainfall has helped get the wheat to grow, Shem says for the crop to still be salvageable around the state is to add yield through bigger kernels and for more rain.
That does not add a ton of weight to, we'll have good test weights, we'll have good quality. On the side of that, we could see protein go down, so that ruins quality, but we could see good test weights if we keep that rain and that wheat finishes up.
Well, Kansas farmer editor Jennifer Lasky says in Kearney County, a crop insurance agent said out of 40,000 acres planted there, about 60% has already been zeroed. With more claims to process, that number could jump to 80%. This morning, we're discussing the anniversary of the Joplin tornado.
Now, more than 150 people were killed and over 1,000 others injured when an EF5 tornado hit Joplin on this day 12 years ago. Thousands of homes were destroyed. The storm packed winds in excess of 200 miles an hour was on the ground for more than 22 miles.
To this day, the Joplin tornado ranks as one of Missouri's and the United States' deadliest tornadoes. According to NOAA, it ranks as the costliest tornado in U.S. history with $2.8 billion in damages.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Were you in Joplin for the tornado? So far, 75% of you say that you were not. 25% of you say that you were. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part on the discussion in our Facebook page.
I believe we had 7 coworkers here that had their homes destroyed in the tornado.
It's a rough time for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Neosho Fish Hatchery celebrates 135 years of fishing fun with a Veterans Derby on Sunday. Veterans were able to enjoy the nice weather while catching some fish, and lunch was provided for attendees along with a free t-shirt, and volunteers cleaned and bagged all catches on ice.
Today is our annual Veteran Fishing Derby. This is our derby that kicks off the whole year of derbies. And we like to start off with our veterans, and this year is actually a special year, 135th year of operation.
No licenses or tags were required to fish at the Derby. Well, some folks in Joplin spent their Sunday throwing axes. Main Street Axe Company hosted a hatchet marathon. Throwers of all skill levels were able to enter. It featured 28 matches and a double elimination tournament. Organizers say hosting tournaments like this are a great way to bring people together for a little fun.
Today we're throwing a hatchet marathon league. We're an affiliate of the World Axe Throwing League, and so a regular 8-week league season is being played today, all in one day. So each thrower today will play 28 games.
But there were some sore arms. There was also a skee ball tournament at the event. Well, the Joplin History and Mineral Museum hosted a spring rock show on Sunday. Gems, minerals, fossils, and handmade jewelry were just some of the rocks at the show. Mother Road Coffee and Holy Tacos set up for the rock enthusiasts to enjoy while looking, purchasing, and asking questions about the Earth's treasures.
Today, this entire weekend is our 16th annual Spring Rock Show, and we have people who've come from all over the area to both show their material and as well as come to see what we have to offer.
Joplin History and Mineral Museum is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day except Sundays. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News.
A barbecue spot here in Tomball, Texas is now serving takeout here in New York City. I'm Bradley Blackburn, and I'll show you how.
And we've got a chilly start for us on this Monday morning, and otherwise a very decent day today and even tomorrow. We'll talk about that forecast when we come back. But first, here's a live look from Mercy Park in Joplin. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, President Biden is set to meet with Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this afternoon as the clock ticks on a deal to raise the country's borrowing limit. In an interview Sunday with NBC's Meet the Press, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that early June is a, quote, hard deadline for the federal government to avert default, and that if an agreement is not passed by then, the nation may have to make hard choices about which bills to pay. Attorneys for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are asking that the Obama-appointed judge assigned to Disney's First Amendment case against him be disqualified. The DeSantis legal team is questioning the judge's impartiality, claiming that he referenced the feud between the Republican governor and Disney during hearings for unrelated cases. Disney filed a lawsuit alleging that DeSantis retaliated against the company when he signed legislation to take control of Disney's self-governing district. The move came after Disney publicly opposed a Florida law that bans classroom discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity in early grades. Fast X sped to the top of the box office over the weekend. The 10th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise raked in more than $67 million domestically and almost $320 million globally. Earnings make the film the second biggest international film opening of the year, behind the Super Mario Brothers movie. And there's a new way restaurants are serving more customers without opening new locations. They're licensing recipes to be recreated remotely. As Bradley Blackburn explains, it means Texas barbecue is now a hit in a surprising place.
When you smell smoked brisket and you see a dry rub, you're almost certainly deep in the heart of Texas.
The smoke rolls over the top of the meats.
Scott Moore Jr. owns Tejas Barbecue, one of the best spots in the state.
You got brisket coming up.
Tasting it has meant a trek here to the city of Tomball near Houston, where the line stretches out the door.
It's not a cuisine that is easily found in Manhattan, obviously.
At least until now. Tejas partnered with a company called Wonder that licensed its recipes and sent cooks to train in Texas so they can authentically recreate their barbecue here in New York City.
We've invested a lot over the last few years on making sure that we're able to replicate the best food from the best restaurants and chefs around the country.
Wonder founder Mark Laurie is bringing e-commerce innovation to food. A single location offers meals from more than a dozen restaurants, including iconic chefs like Bobby Flay and Jose Andres. But Tejas is their top seller.
So New Yorkers like Texas barbecue. They absolutely love it.
It's one of several companies helping restaurants grow without traditional franchising. Goldbelly allows restaurants to ship everything from New Orleans gumbo to Chicago deep dish to diners cross country. Moore says the deal with Wonder is huge for a small business.
The money that they were offering was more money than this restaurant was going to make over several years.
This is the test. This is brisket. Of course, it all comes down to taste. This native Texan tried it in Tomball. This is the brisket in New York and the middle of Manhattan. It holds up. It is good.
I'm hanging our hat on it. I'm proud to tell anybody from New York that that's Tejas's product.
A little bit of Texas, some 1,600 miles away, as more restaurants expand their reach. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York and Texas.
Right now, Wonder is available in the New York City area only, but they plan to expand across the country. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a chilly start out there today, but we do have some sunny skies looking pretty good from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. Plentiful sunshine out there. Clouds will increase, though, as we go through the day. And here's the sunrise on our camera at 7th and Range Line. We're sitting at 53 in Joplin with a calm breeze. As we take a look at temperatures around the region, again, a bit of a chilly start. 49 in Fort Scott Yates Center, 51 in Chanute Chatopa, 52 in Parsons, 53 Miami, at 52 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, not too bad. We'll start to warm up nicely, low 70s by late morning, mostly clear skies, a few passing clouds out there. Otherwise, a beautiful start to this Monday. Again, clouds will increase later today. We even have some shower chances later this week, and we'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. We're also going to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries right after the break. But before we get to any of that stuff that I just mentioned, why don't we go ahead and check out what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, actor Sean Hayes will be with us talking about his Tony-nominated role in Goodnight Oscar and what it's like to be back on Broadway for a role written just for him. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to begin in St. Paul with Daxon Burns celebrating birthday number 9 with the catch of the day there. This comes with love from Papa Jim and Grandma Judy.
All right, Easton Rutherford turning 9 years old in Iola, Kansas.
And Miley Mooney celebrating birthday number 12 in Parsons, and says here she'll be a 7th grader at Service Valley Charter School in rural Parsons.
All right. Tyler Natalini turning 19 years old in Scammon.
And Caleb Morgan over in Carthage celebrating birthday number 35. Happy birthday, Caleb.
All right. Stephen Allen Jr., that's him pictured on the right there, celebrating the big 5-0. Happy birthday, Steve. Love your mom and dad.
And we've got Christy Sufert celebrating birthday number 52 in Humboldt. Happy birthday, Christy.
All right. Pastor Paul Duncan is turning 70 years old this year in Crestline, Kansas. There he is, pictured in front of the Crestline Baptist Church.
And we've also got Gary Wells over in Joplin celebrating birthday number 74. And Gary actually belongs to the Screen Actors Guild. Happy birthday, Gary.
That's really cool. All right, Susan Robinson is celebrating birthday number 80 this year. Looking great there, Miss Susan, in Arma, Kansas. And this Miss Susan is actually an extended family member to our KOAM morning show family, our producer Corinza's grandmother.
All right. We've also got Ron Olson over in Erie celebrating birthday number 86. Says happy birthday from your loving wife.
All right. And down in Miami, Oklahoma, Sherry Nida, happy birthday to you.
And we've got Kathy Swathwood celebrating a birthday in Columbus. Happy birthday, Kathy.
All right. Mark and Clara Howerton are celebrating their 12th anniversary this year. They are in Carthage, Missouri.
And David and Brenda Mayfield celebrating their 41st wedding anniversary. And says, David here says he still has a beautiful lady. And David, I would agree. Happy anniversary.
All right. And Bill and Carolyn Sisson are celebrating their 62nd anniversary. They're out in Mapleton, Kansas. Their anniversary love comes from Stan and Kelly.
And then our very own Stephanie Marsh, the KOAM assignment editor. She has somehow tolerated me for the last 6.5 years. I do not know how. I do not know how I haven't driven her crazy over the years, but we're very lucky to have her, very gracious to have her. Very happy birthday to Miss Stephanie Marsh.
And, you know, while she had a brief stint down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, she's been putting up with me for almost 17 years.
Yeah, I don't know how she does what she does. She is amazing at what she does. The station would not run without her.
All right, I hope you have a wonderful birthday, Stephanie. All right, and we cannot forget Lisa Johnson out in Thayer, Kansas, turning 56 today.
All right, and of course, as we've mentioned before, we love celebrating with all of you, and I know you love celebrating with us. Tanya, how can they join us in on the celebration?
All they have to do is send us their birthday and anniversary info, and don't forget the picture and the name for sure, to birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website checking out all the cool things it has to offer, the coolest thing it has to offer is the KOAM Birthday Club. You get special deals from local businesses as well as a happy birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for that birthday club today. All right, let's take a quick look at your forecast. Looking back at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, sunshine out there, clear skies. Same view from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, there's that sun rising. Looks great, albeit a bit chilly. 53 in Joplin with a calm breeze out there. And across the region, again, a chilly start for us on this Monday. 49 Fort Scott in Yates Center, 50 Iola, 51 Chanute, 55, bless you, Gabe. Every morning, I'm telling you, there's something that Gabe's got going on that calls my attention to him. Just always during the weather. Gabe, what's going on?
Sneezing.
He says he's sneezing. Obviously, you're sneezing.
Probably the dust or the lights.
Dust or the lights. Remember, this is our 70th anniversary, and this is the same studio from 70 years ago. So dust, definitely a possible situation here. But we do keep it pretty tidy. It looks nice. We have 53 in Miami, 52 Neosho, and 54 Lamar and Carthage. As we get our morning started, looking pretty good. We're going to warm up gradually into the low 70s by late morning. We'll have those mostly clear skies, maybe a few passing clouds. Clouds will increase as we head later into the day, and we're going to take another full look at your forecast, how today, tonight, and the week ahead looks here in just a few more minutes. And coming up with the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're taking you to a very special baby shower. All baby showers celebrate a special time in a mother's life and create some wonderful memories. But for these mothers suffering from cognitive decline and memory impairment, the occasion becomes even more important. We've got this moving story of mothers, memories, and baby showers when the KOAM Morning News makes the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities respond to reports of a serious car crash at around 8:30 Saturday night on Asbury's Main Street. Witnesses say the car was traveling at a high rate of speed, lost control, and struck a utility pole and then a tree. Responders attempted CPR, but the driver was pronounced deceased about 20 minutes later on scene. We have a follow-up to the rollover crash from last week. The driver, Keaton Dickey, 22 years old, from Oronogo, Missouri, suffered serious injuries when his car overturned about 6 times into a field just north of Kafer Road in Jasper County, Missouri, before throwing him 100 feet away. He was arrested for DWI, no insurance, no seatbelt, and failure to drive on the right side of the roadway. Neosho Fish Hatchery celebrates 135 years of fishing fun with a Veterans Derby on Sunday. Veterans were able to enjoy the nice weather while catching some fish. Lunch was provided for attendees along with a free t-shirt, and volunteers cleaned and bagged all catches on ice. Well, today marks 12 years since an EF5 tornado hit Joplin, Missouri on May 22nd, 2011. Thousands of homes were destroyed, 150 people killed, and thousands more injured. Storm-packed winds in excess of 200 miles per hour was on the ground for more than 22 miles. To this day, the Joplin tornado ranks as one of Missouri's and the United States' deadliest tornadoes. It also ranks as the costliest tornado in U.S. history, with $2.8 billion in damages. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, it's a chilly start, but warming up nicely, mid, maybe even upper 70s. Increasing clouds this afternoon, going partly cloudy. Clouds continue to increase through the evening, but we stay mild. Mostly cloudy as we head through the evening and overnight. Another chilly one for us, though, as we drop back to the mid-50s. Warmer tomorrow with a few more clouds, 82, and then we've got those chances for isolated to widely scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two all the way through Sunday and into Tuesday of next week. Temperatures low 80s, upper 70s, and then rain dries out next Wednesday, and we're mostly cloudy.
Well, coming up today at noon, we are making crispy honey mustard wings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
All right, and your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Why there's renewed hope of a compromise deal between Democrats and Republicans in a bid to prevent an economy-wrecking federal default. That's next on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we've got Monday morning baking magic when Lori Horton is back in our Studio K with a recipe for pistachio pudding cookies.
And we look at the state of sports betting 5 years after a Supreme Court ruling. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.